Welcome to Insight. I'm John Gray, and this is a show that will be replacing Grassroots that Tom Corrington did for years. Insight on things you need to know. And what we're going to do today is we're going to let you know it's the election season. And with that being said, I'm going to give you some times. The election is August the 6th. Early voting is July 17th through August the 1st. In Tullahoma, it's Monday through Friday, 9 to 4:30. Manchester, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. The election is for state and federal. Those will be. Well, I just lost my train of thought. It's amazing what harmonica music that sounds like a train will do. Primaries. Those will be your primary elections. General elections will be the county and city elections. And you can go, people are talking about their ability to absentee vote or write-in vote. You can go to the County Election Commission's website and go to brochure, election brochure. It gives you all the information you need for that. Now, today we have Tullahoma's mayoral candidate, Mr. Daniel Berry, in with us, and we're going to give Daniel a minute or two to tell us about yourself. Daniel, let you folks out there know a little bit about Daniel Berry.
A little bit about me. I think first, hello, Tullahoma. Daniel Berry. I'm currently an alderman here, one of your newer ones with Rupa Blackwell. I'm from Tullahoma, graduated here in 1999, played football. Coach Olive was coach back then. And my family, we moved here in 92, and it was because of the schools. We had traveled to Florida every year, and when it came time to move from Central Ohio, we had the base here, and we had the schools here. I've lived most of my life here in Tullahoma. I did take a hiatus for a while and moved to San Antonio. That was about a 5-year period, which really kind of changed some things and put me on a new direction. I had to go there looking for a job, and it was through that I had the opportunity to work with local governments, state governments, state school boards, Austin, New Hampshire State School Board Association. And I developed with an incredible team of developers around the world an application to help these businesses and governments to do strategic planning and to make information available, to be accountable and transparent to the public. And
there you go.
So you'll hear me preach about that a lot, and it's because I spent years developing that application, and then we would go around and coach these individual governments on this is how you can function efficiently, this is how you get information out. We help them to make sure that they were adhering to their sunshine laws, which are different in every state, so getting to know those. And that's what I brought back here to Tennessee when I came back home. I lived in Texas, but Tullahoma's always been my home.
Okay, man.
And so when I ran for alderman, that was one of the big things behind it is I've had this experience working with all of these different governments and school boards. And just looking at some of the things and the ways that we operate here, I wanted to bring that to the table.
Okay. All right.
It's my home. I plan on staying here and
good.
Want to make it better.
There you go. All right, folks, that's Daniel Berry. We'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back with Daniel and expand on a few things that are going on around Tullahoma and the area where you will have a little insight as well.
Hello, I'm Ray Norris. This is a critical time in Tullahoma. On August the 6th, voters will have an opportunity to elect a new mayor, one who can provide proven, experienced leadership, one who knows how to get things done and keep Tullahoma moving. I recognize the value of Tullahoma's excellent school system. Our system is recognized as one of the best in the state, and I'll ensure that our schools continue at that level. I will not vote to raise property taxes in order to have a balanced budget until all other options have been exhausted. I'll work closely with our city staff to ensure that my fiscally conservative values are incorporated. I've served on all city boards involved in economic development. And I see that as a way that we can broaden our tax base and avoid a property tax rate increase. Some developers have had issues with our planning and codes department. I'll commit to these improvements. There'll be consistency in the instructions from planning and codes without changes from day to day. And there'll be predictable timelines for providing delivery dates for plan reviews, permits, and inspections. Timelines that will be met reliably. Now, while we can't do much about the traffic on 41A and 55, we can improve our local streets and sidewalks. And this I commit to do. So I ask for your vote for proven, experienced leadership.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with Insight, and I have Daniel Berry, a mayoral candidate for Tullahoma, on with me today. And Daniel, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you one question that to me is a very, very important question, but it's also a very telling question. I'd like for you to define Tullahoma for me. To you, what is the essence of Tullahoma, Tennessee?
Yeah, Tullahoma's home. Tullahoma's a community of neighbors, and it's a place where you can actually go out and speak to people. You can knock on a door, you can talk to people. You go to Walmart and you know everybody in there, and you go to the shopping center and you know everybody in there. And it's got a long history of technology with the Air Force Base. We've had a lot of firsts here in our small town in Tullahoma. So to me, it's a place that you feel welcome. And I think that it's filled with members here, neighbors, who would take the shirts off their back for everybody else. And you see examples of this every day. And as an alderman, I saw this more as you go out and you get involved with these organizations. I've been involved with some of these there's about 20 of these nonprofits together. When we did some work with the homeless here in Tullahoma, going out and visiting these camps and figuring out ways to help clean up some of these. You've got organizations that like come to the table who give out. And to me, it's what a small town should be.
Okay.
There's some things that I'd love to fix, and we'll talk about some of those.
Yeah. Well, my next question is, what do you bring to the table to the citizens of Tullahoma that will expand and grow the vision of what Tullahoma is into the future?
Yeah.
What's your direction?
So I think this is something that I made some promises when I ran for alderman, and these are things that I will continue as mayor. One of those is the experience that I've had in working with other municipalities, the experience that I've garnered here in Tullahoma, and the relationships that I've built because of some of these relationships that I built through the years working with individual cities across the U.S. One of the initiatives I'd like to do is have, by the end of our 3-year, which may be 4-year term, is have a mayor in all 50 states, to where we've got a consortium based here in Tullahoma, where we're sharing ideas, we're spreading ideas. They're cities just like ours. So experience and connections or relationships are something that I bring. then also I'm the guy that's going to sit on your front porch. We're going to sit down and have a conversation. You're going to sit on my front porch, and we're going to talk. We're going to sit. We're going to listen. My question is always, what do you like about Tullahoma? And when you ask that, you get the good, you get the bad, but it starts those conversations. And my focus is on actual government and processes. And those are some things that I'd like to get fixed. We talked about some of these things before the show. I want to see us move to performance-based budgeting. I want to actually know what these line items in some of these departments are. And that really stems back to my work with these other municipalities and seeing what worked, what didn't work, and the good and the bad.
Well, that's just like the other night on the board meeting. Kurt Glick said, I was surprised in all the years he's been here, in his job position, he's never been audited.
Right.
Really?
I heard that, and I will verify that. To me, we have a traditional line item style budget. And what I would like to see, you can't revamp everything at once, but you can start in certain departments. But when we have new projects, new initiatives, new equipment, when we're allocating money to something, that should tie to some sort of goal. This is what we're trying to accomplish. And then every year you come back to that and you say, did the money that we spent right here meet this goal? Was it worth it? Did we get what we wanted out of that? If not, figure out why. If it's not changeable, then you need to stop doing it. But you should be doing that when you have the line items that are just you're increasing or decreasing by a percentage year over year. You're not really maximizing.
But to me, to hear that statement means that as long as I make my budget and don't ask for anything else, I'm not questioned about where that money went.
That's currently
whether
how it
I
is.
saved money, whether I spent extra, whether I moved money from space to space.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to. And I assume that if it's that way with him, it's that way with every department.
That's kind of how it is right now.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's why I think it's important to move to more of a, what do you expect to accomplish with this? And then every year you should be coming back and saying, I hit this, I didn't hit this, or we didn't hit this.
So that's something we need to work on to grow.
We can grow. Then that's what the goal is, to grow and be more efficient.
Okay.
It's your money. So we want to spend it the best way possible.
Yeah. And, we have a little bit of time right now in the first segment. So what I'll do is I'll introduce the question, and then we'll get to it after the commercial break. TDAC, our economic development arm of the city.
Right.
And it is to bring economic development into town. Mm-hmm. That's in two forms. It's in retail and it's in manufacturing. And what everybody's looking for is good jobs. Good jobs. We see a lot of effort put into retail, but the public doesn't see much going on involved in manufacturing or the bringing of new jobs into town. Now, I know there's probably stuff going on, but it's hard to advertise something until a deal's done.
Right.
So when we get back after this commercial break, we'll discuss how that is going on and what retail does to help bring the manufacturing side into town. So with that said, we'll be back with Daniel Berry right after this commercial break.
We're losing it, Doctor.
Not on my shift. Quickly, brush. Roller.
What a transformation. It's going to be okay.
Okay, nothing.
At Paintworks of Tullahoma, we specialize in domestic emergencies with Martin Senior Paints. You can be the paint doctor, too, when you treat your home with Martin Senior interior and exterior finishes.
Doctor, we've got another one.
Got you covered.
Paintworks of Tullahoma. Come see the paint doctor, Stat.
It's not Invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. It's a Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with Insight. I'm John Gray, and today I'm with Daniel Berry, a mayoral candidate for the city of Tullahoma. And we had, before the commercial break, we talked about TDAC, the Tullahoma Economic Development Corporation, and the fact that the big push has been toward the retail side so far, and we have empty factory buildings in town, and we're still looking for those good jobs, the manufacturing jobs, if they still exist in America. Right. I think some of it's coming back. Right. But are we building a comfortable nest first for those people to come move into? How do you see all of that shaking down?
So we've been working on a comfortable nest, and our focus has been on retail and restaurants, and you hear a lot of people talk about that. We're getting places that other cities around us don't have. I think that we're going to see more manufacturing coming back to the United States in general,
right?
Because of recent events, and we have everything we need right here to lure those groups through the base. We have very educated and non-educated, people to fill these jobs. Force. We have a great workforce. We have a skilled workforce. We have area. We do have our municipal airport. There's also a large landing strip out here. We're not too awful far from the interstate. We have gig to the premise internet. We have everything that we need right here, but sometimes we don't really connect those dots. I serve on the Coffee County Consolidated Industrial Board, and there's stuff in the works. There's in the TDAC and the Industrial Board, those are kind of things where you don't really know what they're working on until after it's done. Because in a lot of those cases, you're under non-disclosures that you can't talk about. I would like to see more of a focus, less on retail and more on trying to bring in these good paying jobs. We do want to continue to focus on the retail, and it does raise our city revenue.
Okay.
But what these aren't doing are providing jobs that you can still provide for your family, put food on the table, and pay for a place to live. And I think that we need to focus, and this is something we'll talk a little bit more about in a minute, I believe, is for industry to come here, they're going to need places for their people to live. And building in Tullahoma's not an easy thing to do. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, that was my next question, is there's been some, you bring in people in, they need housing. They need developments. Things need to happen to accept a group of employees who are used to living a certain way. I think Mayor Curley's done a very good job with Get Fit Tullahoma, Recycle Tullahoma, all those things that he's done to bring a softer side to this town. Right. We're a very cultural town. Right. Where people who come here, we probably have more PhDs than any place except Huntsville and Stennis.
Right.
You know, those people demand their children have a cultural side to the town, which we have, a good education. But the development side, we have a problem working through our codes department and our planning commission, and it's very difficult. You know, you shouldn't, I heard one of the guys say, you shouldn't have to beg to build in Tullahoma.
Well, that's a comment that it's been my favorite quote that I've heard since I've been out there talking to the builders, is we should want to build in Tullahoma and not have to beg to. And that's what's happening. And when you go out and you talk to the majority of those who are investing in land or who are looking to build homes and businesses, they don't want to do it. I talked to a guy yesterday who's auctioning off the bulk of his properties because he does not want to do business in Tullahoma anymore. I've talked to 3 businesses just this week who are looking for places in Winchester and Manchester because they're tired of doing it here. And they're fixable problems, right?
Well,
so
haven't we made some strides?
We have made some strides.
I mean, our codes guy's gone, isn't he?
He is gone, and we've split planning.
Was he the problem?
I think this is a process problem overall.
Yeah, okay.
And those are things that I'd like to actually dig into more, and something as mayor is let's look at these processes from top to bottom. Okay. When you want to build in Tullahoma, you're always going to have some gray areas and some flexible areas, but I should be able to walk up to you, John, and say, this is what you've got to do. Here's that checklist. You walk into a meeting now, which I think is a great idea because you have everybody there. One, you don't expect it because you're told you're there for a signed permit. But then when you get there, you've got 12, 14 people around a table all throwing stuff at you. You get that checklist, you walk out a little timid, you go through that checklist, you come back, and they're saying, well, now you need to do this, 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 and this. And so I don't think it's malicious intent there, right? But it is it's an issue with the process in general. And so we just need to focus more on that because the only way you grow Tullahoma is by building homes and bringing in new businesses. And we focus a lot on some of these big box store businesses and getting them here when we should be looking at investing in the businesses that are already here. How can we help you grow? Because when we bring in some of these big box stores, we're neglecting an archery store or a restaurant down here, and then they're ending up shutting their doors, and they're going to move to a town that feels like it wants them there. And again, it's fixable. We just need to communicate, sit down and listen, get everybody together, and let's act on some changes.
Okay. All right. Well, what we'll do right now, take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back and find out why Daniel thinks you need to vote for Daniel. We'll be right back in a minute.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Okay, folks, we're back with Insight with Daniel Berry, and what I want to do again is give you, the election is on August the 6th. It's a primary election for county and state elections, and then it is also, or state and federal elections, excuse me. County and city elections, it's general elections. And early voting is August the 17th, or July 17th through August 1st. CD stamps in Tullahoma, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4:30. And the Administrative Plaza in Manchester, Monday through Friday, 8 o'clock to 4:30. So, and you can go on the Election Commission's website and hit election brochure, and it tells you everything you need to know about an absentee ballot, a write-in ballot, and all the things that you have to have and do to be able to accomplish that if you're scared to go to the polls. And with all of that said, I'm going to turn it back over to Daniel right now and let him make a plea to you for his mayoral candidacy.
Thank you, John. I'll keep it short. First, I want to tag on real quick. Last day to register to vote is July 7th. If you're not registered, you can go to the County Commission site as well as govotetn.com. There's even an app that you can put on your phone. If you're not sure if you're registered, you can go in there and pull that up, and it'll tell you where you vote and check your addresses. My message is simple. If you're okay with your roads, if you're okay with where your taxes are and where your money is going, if you're okay with how things are, then I may not be your guy. Tullahoma is an incredible city. We have amazing people here, and it works for just about everybody. But we've got a poverty rate at over 18%, which is 3% higher than our state average and higher than Manchester down the road. There's about 30% or so of the population that just does not work for, but it can. My vision is to move forward. Let's focus on the neglected neighborhoods that we have here. Let's focus on our infrastructure. Let's get rid of these empty buildings and let's fill them. I'll turn it back to you, John.
Fill them up.
Let's fill them up. Let's get some jobs in here.
You want to vote? To ask them. Vote for me.
Vote for Barry. Vote for Barry.
All right, folks. Thank you for watching Insight, and we will be back with the other candidates throughout the election season. Appreciate you very much. And one thing I want to say to you, vote. You can't complain unless you vote. We'll see you next time.